Hello everyone, are you ready for another anime recap? Then subscribe right now to this Anime Plots YouTube channel and watch this full video. Did you subscribe? Okay, let's start the video.
In the present day, we see Chihiro sparring with his friend Kotetsu at Kotetsu's father's dojo. They arrive at school later, but a mysterious noise knocks them all down. A red mist blankets the town, and everyone appears to vanish. Chihiro has a strange vision in which he meets a masked lady named Dux. She assures him that this heroic scene will be repeated indefinitely. Chihiro awakens 5 months later in the university hospital, aided by Dr. Inuki and Komi. They tell him about the great collapse that has covered Tokyo in a red mist and destroyed a massive plant. Chihiro is perplexed, but he meets Kotetsu and they leave the hospital together. Chihiro has a vision of Kotetsu's father Raken being murdered on their way home. When they arrive at the dojo, they hear the same noise and Chihiro notices a man named Jun and Yuri watching from a distance. Raken abruptly transforms into a monster and attacks the boys. Chihiro fights him and suffers serious injuries, but this awakens his heroic blood. Jun and Yuri watch as he takes down Raken and then flees. Chihiro reverts to his normal form and panics when he realizes what he's done. But then Eiko appears and uses her powers to put him to sleep. An inspector named Marie investigates the scene and discovers that humans are transforming into monsters throughout the city. Later, Eiko explains to the boys that Raken was transformed by Jun. The next day, the group goes to school and finds a student who is going insane, but he is taken care of by Inuki and Komi. Eiko reveals that the student would have transformed into a familiar if there was an open gate allowing it to pass through. Chihiro goes to the restroom to calm down, but she runs into Yuri, who is making the same noise by ringing her bells. He follows her to a room where some other students are present, and then Jun appears. Except for Kuro, he transforms all of these students into familiars. Kotetsu and Eiko have arrived, and the group is about to be attacked. Chihiro refuses to transform, but Kotetsu is also revealed to be a heroic blood vessel. He defeats the familiars, but Jun summons a much stronger familiar known as a Diabolos. Kotetsu fights back, and Chihiro eventually transforms to save him. Then he realizes Eiko is his defender, and she transforms into her natural state, Serdin. Chihiro kills the familiar, but Jun summons it again and empowers it to grow much larger. Chihiro begins to lose control of his powers as Kakihara and Tsubasa arrive. He sends out waves that reveal Kakihara as a vessel of heroic blood and Tsubasa as his defender Arrow. Arrow defends Kakihara from a familiar, and Chihiro destroys the empowered Diabolos before attacking Jun. Yuri blocks him, and he loses control as a result. A vessel named Shoko arrives and restores him to normalcy, allowing Yuri and Jun to flee. Ikuro is trapped in a half-human, half-familiar form and is taken to the hospital. Shoko takes the heroes to the Malthus Church, where they meet Dux, the heroic lineage's leader. She claims that the world will end in 40 years and that the world will be ruled by either hope or chaos, depending on who wins the battle between the Church and the Chaos Agents. She claims that the Lord of Vermilion must be born from the Soul Survivor vessel in order to bring hope to the new world. Then she proposes destroying Tokyo in order to prevent Chaos Agents from opening any more gates. Chihiro begins destroying the barriers that protect Tokyo. Meanwhile, we discovered that the man in command of the Chaos Agents is Aldo Shiraki, Yuri's father. Inuki becomes ill and is unable to join a team to destroy another barrier. When Yuri, Jun, and another vessel named Haru attack the group, everyone engages in a fierce battle. Chihiro eventually destroys the barrier, but as a result, he and Yuri are transported to a dream world. Once there, the two of them argue about their perspectives on destroying the barriers. Without Chihiro's presence, she inevitably loses her powers and collapses to the ground. Tsubaki, a Guardian State member, comes looking for a boss and ends up fighting Kotetsu, but they later realize they are not enemies. Meanwhile, Yuri offers to assist Chihiro and directs his overpowered form to destroy the barrier in the dream world. They then return to reality. Chihiro appears to recall Yuri from his childhood, and she informs him that it is all because of his mother. Chihiro returns to the fight and assists Komi by smacking Haru away. Chihiro suspects something is wrong, so the groups return to their respective bases. The group learns at the church that the Guardian State is a secret organization that has been protecting Tokyo for centuries. They also suspect that one of them is a spy. Later, Marie appears with Tsubaki, revealing that she, too, is from the Guardian State. She claims that Jun is responsible for some recent murders and that she is looking for him, so Kotetsu offers to assist her. Meanwhile, Inuki discusses with Chihiro how they can still save everyone even if they cause despair in the process. Komi notices Inuki has broken out of the lab's window late at night. Then we see a werewolf murdering a woman, and it attacks Tsubaki, but Kotatsu saves her. The werewolf flees and reverts to its human form, which we later discover is Inuki. Back at the church, Kakihara reveals that Inuki is the traitor because he and Jun were both at the Hirikien orphanage. Komi informs Chihiro that Hirikien is a facility run by Aldo that he uses to experiment on children. She also claims that while vessels like Inuki were discarded as failures, he is still suffering from the side effects. Inuki encounters Jun and begs him to murder him. Just as Jun is about to comply, Chihiro stops him, and Inuki transforms while also absorbing his heroic blood. Chihiro fights him, goes berserk, and is unable to control his power. That's when Inuki regains control and absorbs Chihiro's power, assisting him. It becomes too much for him, and he dies, his final form being a red crystal. Chihiro hands the crystal to Komi, and we learn that this is how a vessel leaves their body behind in the human world. Aldo braces himself for the second great collapse and directs his vessel to destroy the heroic lineage as soon as possible. Jun wishes to assassinate Chihiro for what he did to Inuki and tells Yuri to stay out of it because she has feelings for him. She runs into Chihiro at Hirikien again and reveals that Mitsuki and Aldo used to work together. Mitsuki was sucked into another world by the explosion caused by their experiments. This drove Aldo insane, and he began searching for her by opening these perilous gates all over Tokyo. She also admits that she and Chihiro were childhood friends who became estranged after the incident. Chihiro has a vision of Kotetsu dying and goes out on a date with Tsubaki without realizing it. Chihiro returns to Yuri and tells her about his friend, but he receives a phone call from Kotetsu and rushes to the scene. The group is attacked by Chaos Agents, with Jun stealing Kotetsu to use as bait for Chihiro. He then begins stabbing Chihiro and threatens to kill Kotetsu if he resists. Fortunately, Yuri appears and stops Jun, who immediately retreats, saving Haru from being killed by Tsubaki in the process. Chihiro now invites Yuri to join him, which she accepts. At the church, Yuri informs everyone of Aldo's plan to cause a second great collapse, and Chihiro backs her up despite Shoko's reservations. Later, Yuri hands Chihiro a copy of The Tempest, which triggers a vision of his father attempting to strangle him. He also has a vision of Marie dying and becomes terrified. When Marie investigates an amusement park, she discovers that Aldo is erecting artificial barriers in order to open more gates. Kaburaji Kark attacks her, summoning the goddess of death Amadeus to kill her with her scythe. Marie makes it back to the team and dies in the arms of Kakihara after giving him a map to the barriers. Then Aldo and his men arrive, making it appear as if Yuri was the one who killed Marie. Even as Chihiro tries to defend her, the team loses faith in her, and she returns to her father. Back at the facility, however, she is severely punished for her betrayal. After this betrayal, the other guardians convince Tsubaki and Akira to leave the church, and Komi takes Marie's blood crystal to continue Inuki's research. After learning about Chihiro's vision that predicts his death, Kakihara continues to belittle him. They finally agree to collaborate for Marie's sake after a lengthy discussion. They follow her path to the amusement park and discover the keystones, which are artificial barriers. Kark reappears and summons Amadeus once more, who binds Chihiro with hallucinations, preventing him from transforming. Kakihara tries to assist him but is attacked by Kark, so Eros sacrifices herself to buy him more time. Unfortunately, Amadeus cuts him from afar and he falls to the ground. Before dying, Kakihara absolves Chihiro of his guilt by telling him that he discovered he was mistaken about him murdering his father. As Kakihara breathes his last, Tsubaki and Kotetsu arrive and shoo Kark away. With only a few vessels remaining, Dux informs Shoko that Aldo is about to cause the second great collapse by activating the final of the 7 keystones. Now we see Aldo organizing a Kark concert at the Infinity Theater. Akira and Tsubaki rejoin the church, and Dux informs them of the 7 keystones. They conclude that the final keystone will be activated at the Infinity Theater, using Kark's piano performance to entice the audience. Jun is assigned to protect the other 6 keystones, and he is disappointed that he cannot go after Chihiro. This prompts Haru to hand Tsubaki a concert flyer, which essentially confirms the church's suspicions. Haru then informs Jun that he has enticed Chihiro to attend the concert, and sends his blue skulls as guards. When the members of the church arrive at the theater, Kark transforms the blue skulls into familiars to keep them occupied. He begins his performance, and the keystone begins to absorb the audience, but Chihiro makes an unexpected appearance. Jun, on the other hand, was already waiting for him and fights Chihiro, allowing Kark to transform the audience members into a titan familiar named Azura Mazda. Jun tries to take advantage of Chihiro's struggle to control his powers. Kark, on the other hand, kills him while injuring Haru and Akira. Chihiro is finally able to control his berserk power, which he uses to kill Azura, much to Kark's surprise. Shoko also destroys the keystone, thwarting Aldo's plans. By showing her fake videos of him killing Jun and attacking the others, Aldo, Drail, and Kark attempt to manipulate Yuri against Chihiro. Aldo then seeks assistance from his human creation Chiyu, who leads him to a replica machine capable of forcibly opening the gate using the energy from the other 6 keystones. Chiyu starts the process, and the keystones start opening the gate. Chihiro and the remaining members have no choice but to head to the Avel headquarters to put an end to this once and for all. While Chihiro fights Kark, the others rush to the headquarters to stop the machine. Kark summons Amadeus and Gormengander, the serpent god of death, to fight Chihiro, and he is knocked out while fighting them all. While unconscious, Dux tells him that he's died multiple times in alternate timelines but keeps reappearing. Kotetsu and Tsubaki fight an army of familiars, while Komi infiltrates the headquarters. We discovered that Aldo created Chiyu from his and Mitsuki's DNA, and she mocks him for manipulating the women in his life. She also claims that Mitsuki is not waiting for him on the other side of the gate, which drives him insane. When Komi enters the room, Chiyu confronts her. Meanwhile, Chihiro becomes more determined than ever to change the course of his destiny, and he realizes his true potential. He easily defeats Jormungandr and quickly kills Amadeus and Kark. The other guardians arrive to assist Katatsu and Sabaki with the monsters. Chiyu's machine loses control and she is powerless to stop it. As it begins to grow dangerously, Drail throws Aldo inside the gate, calling him a fool for causing this mess in the first place. Yux informs Chihiro that he has the authority to close the gate, but as he moves forward, Yuri appears with Jormungandr to stop him. They fight, and after killing the massive serpent, Chihiro eventually brings Yuri back to her senses. She insists on entering the gate with him, but Chihiro pushes her away at the last moment, and uses his powers to close the gate. For the time being, Tokyo is safe, but then we see Drail meeting with the Guardians for some sinister purpose, and the show ends.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.